You're standing there looking at the list of pool pumps, wondering if you're about to throw another few $100s at a piece of equipment that will sit on a shelf for months, or if this one will actually make a difference in your backyard. It's a real worry. Pool owners spend a lot on chemicals, liners and winterizing, and the pump is the heart of the system, so you want to be sure you're not buying something that just spins and spins without delivering the savings you expect. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's break down what the Pentair Inteliflo3 VSF 1.5 HP pump actually does in everyday use, where the value comes from, and whether it fits the kind of pool setup you have. First off, the biggest claim on the box is up to 90% energy savings. That isn't a random marketing line. It's a result of Pentair's proprietary flow technology that runs the motor at a slower speed while still moving the same volume of water through a more efficient hydraulic design. In a typical residential pool, a conventional single-speed pump can draw a noticeable amount of electricity, especially during the long summer months. By throttling the speed, the Inteliflo3 reduces the kilowatt-hours you're billed for, and because the motor, drive, and hydraulics are all new, the system stays within the Department of Energy (DOE) compliance standards. For a family that runs the pump 1,214 hours a day, the math works out to a few $100s a year saved on the electric bill, enough to offset the higher purchase price over a couple of seasons. Now, let's talk about how that slower speed feels in practice. If you've ever watched a traditional pump churn water and heard it roar, you'll notice the Inteliflo3 is much quieter. The regulated flow means water moves through the filter and heater at a steady rate instead of the pulsing surge you sometimes get with a single-speed motor. That steadiness translates to less wear on your filter media and a longer life for the pump itself. I've seen owners with salt chlorine systems mention that their salt cells stay cooler because the flow isn't constantly blasting over them, which can extend the cell's lifespan by a few years. Installation is another spot where the real-world experience matters. The pump fits standard 1-inch pool plumbing, so you don't need a custom adapter if you're swapping out an older unit. The main caveat is that you'll need a compatible filter and valve setup that can handle the regulated flow. A high-capacity sand filter will work fine, but a smaller cartridge filter might see reduced pressure and could require you to adjust your cleaning schedule. The wiring is straightforward, but because the pump is variable speed and flow (VSF), you'll want to connect it to a dedicated circuit and make sure your breaker can handle the startup surge, even though it's lower than a traditional pump. One of the standout practical features is the Pentair Home app integration. Once you've got the pump on your Wi-Fi, you can start, stop, and set the speed from your phone, or use the optional touchscreen controller that lives on the pool wall. That's more than a gimmick. Imagine you're on a weekend trip and you forget to turn the pump off. A quick tap in the app, and you've saved hours of runtime and avoided a swollen electricity bill. For tech-savvy homeowners who already have a Pentair automation system, the Inteliflo3 slots right in, syncing with your existing timers and water level sensors. If you're not into smart devices, you can still run it with the manual controls, but you'll miss out on the convenience of remote adjustments and the detailed usage logs that the app provides. So, who should consider buying this pump? If you have an in-ground pool of at least 12,000 gallons, run a heater or a large solar blanket, and you're looking at a consistent daily runtime, the energy savings alone make the Inteliflo3 a compelling choice. It's also a good fit for families who want to reduce the noise level around the pool area. Think of a backyard where kids are playing and you don't want a constant hum in the background. Another strong candidate is anyone who already uses a Pentair control system. The seamless integration means you won't have to juggle multiple apps or learn a new interface. On the flip side, there are scenarios where the Inteliflo3 might be overkill. If you own a small above-ground pool that only runs the pump a few hours a day, the upfront cost could take several years to pay for the electricity you'd save. Likewise, if you live in an area with very cheap electricity, the financial incentive drops, and a basic single-speed pump might make more sense. The app control is only useful if you have a reliable Wi-Fi signal near the pool equipment. Otherwise you'll be stuck with the manual panel, which defeats part of the convenience factor. Finally, The regulated slower speed means it won't fill a pool as quickly as a high-speed pump if you frequently need